All right, welcome to another episode of Liquid Drop. I believe this is episode 4. All right, we're Facebook Live it and everything like that. So, what I want to do with Liquid Drop, because I may have not explained what this is. So, this is my podcast, my brainchild, if you would say, or my project. What you're going to get with Liquid Drop is some parts inspirational, positive message, other parts tech and news, and then you'll get, hey Tim, and then you'll get other parts, whatever's just on my mind. So that could be interviews. A lot of times I'm going to bring on people who have they're doing great things, so that way they can get a shout out, or they can talk to you about their business or what they do or what their strengths are. So all in all, like, just enjoy the journey with me. So today, feel free. I'm looking in the chat as well. This is the first time I'm trying this out. What's up, Gerald, Tommy, Tim? How y'all doing today? You all can throw out questions if y'all want. I'll answer questions or anything like that. But yeah, this is my project. So what I am going to talk about is the Monique situation. So I'm trying to think. It's an interesting concept. So, not an interesting concept. Let's say it like this. I want you all to think, what would make you boycott something like Netflix? Like, what would have to happen for you to get up and be like, you know what, I'm going to boycott that? What would it take? And anybody in the chat, or just to boycott anything, but people seem to, from the friends I've ran into, the people I've talked to lately, there's been this idea that most people can't live without Netflix for whatever reason. I'm just using Netflix as an example. This could be anything you want it to be. You can apply it to whatever you feel in your life. So I've been wondering. I've been thinking to myself as well, since Monique has, come to light, and everybody's kind of been talking about that for at least a week or so. And the whole idea of Monique got on there. And if I'm missing any information, please throw it in the chat. Write me, correct me, throw it in there, because this is still a dialogue with you all as well. But and if you see, I do have a microphone here. So if you see me leaning over talking, like, I'm trying to position this microphone so that way it records everything. So Monique, I saw it on a blog or Instagram, and Monique was talking about the difference basically in the way men and women get paid, even in comedy, or using the example Netflix. And she was using examples of other legends who make 20-40 million per special. And she, on the other hand, was given or offered $500,000. I was just talking to a person actually earlier today, and I was just asking them, like, it happened to be a lady, and I was asking them, like, so you've heard the story, and they basically were like, yeah, but I can't get jiggy with her like that. I can't follow that, and I was wondering why. And she was saying, like, she wants me to give up Netflix. Okay. So I literally asked the same question I asked everybody in the chat. What up, Dre? What would you do? Like, what would have to happen for you to boycott Netflix in any other situation? Is it based off of you don't support, quote unquote, let's say if this was a quote unquote racially motivated, you would boycott it because of that. You see injustice, pay discrepancy between men and women, you were going to boycott it for that. Monique's just not a big enough name for you to care enough to want to boycott. So it was a curious. I'm wondering what you all think in the chat as well. So you can write in the chat. I should see all your messages, and I'll probably say them on here as well. But when I was talking to somebody, I was like, "Hey, she made it. She pulled the black card, and in some ways was saying, because I'm not going to quote anything, so I'll paraphrase everything from my interpretation. She was saying, women get paid less." Women get paid less, and she was saying even a black woman like her gets paid less than a white woman counterpart comedian. And I feel like that got lost in transition. I did hear another podcast, Cool Kids at the Table. I'm going to paraphrase what I saw, wanted to talk about the way she was branding, kind of like promoting herself. Like, how was her promotions going? How was this handled? Maybe her PR could have handled this better. And I actually think so as well. The PR could have definitely handled this in a different way. Are people more stuck on that she told you to, hey, boycott Netflix? But she did bring up an interesting point. If she is, quote unquote, considered a legend in the game, right, and she's able to take 500,000, will that have a trickle-down effect on other up-and-coming minority or just women in general comedians? I was wondering that. Like, would it have a trickle-down effect? If they can pay, quote-unquote, a legend $500,000, or we can call it $50 to make it easy money, will that have a trickle-down effect? And I think it could. That would be the worst-case scenario, but I actually think it could. So, let me see. Ashley, let's see what you got in here. I think her feelings, somebody's writing in right now, I think her feelings and views are 100% accurate, but asking paying customers to boycott isn't the answer when you have already paid. It's like having a car and not driving it. I see that. I actually see that view. But if you're boycotting it on the principles, you could always cancel next month. People watch football and then people stop watching football. So just because you paid the week before, you have new knowledge, you can do what you want from there. So I think that's kind of a cop out, because if you're about whatever whatever her position is, I would say honestly, it wouldn't matter if you paid last week. What's happening this week going forward? But that's a good point. Like having a car and not driving it. That's true. That's true. But that's kind of like having a car, not driving it because you found out that you have bad wheels and no brakes, because your car wasn't adequately taken care of like other cars. Oh, hold on. But so the signal just went out for a second, so when it pops back in, we'll reconvene. So I had to wonder, like, what would make me boycott Netflix? And I really came up with a simple answer for me. For me to boycott Netflix, I would like to hear more female comedians come out and say, hey, what's the, let's talk what the pay is. How big of a gap is it? And then if we're going to use the race card, then I would like to see other female comedians, or black female or minority female comedians, come in and actually talk about how much they were paid. Because, yeah, the men are taken care of, but that doesn't really help the women in this situation. So if, whoever is getting, let's take Dave Chappelle and like Jerry Springer, all them out. Let's take them out the list, right? Because they're legends, they're bona fide, they're certified in the game. Like, if they pop up on a marquee, it's selling tickets. Cam, we're gonna talk about that. I like that point. I need to see more actresses or actresses, comedians who are affected, right? So that's my personal take on that. Like, I need to see more, not just her one situation, because when I was thinking about it, how's Netflix process of picking how much you pay, like coming up with how much you pay? Is it based off her 2013 special? Did any of you all watch it? I don't remember the special. I watched it, but I don't remember it. I couldn't tell you a joke off of there. Is it based off that? She didn't make numbers then, and they were like, hey, we tried you once. Now we're going to... All right, stop it, everybody. Now we're going to... pay you what we should have did that first time. And if you say that, is the $500,000 justified, or is she really getting lowballed? Because she sounds like she's getting lowballed. But who am I comparing it against? Who's her competition? If you do by a legend, then she definitely should make at least a couple mil. If you're doing by what she did lately, don't know. I don't know what she projected to make. Who really wants to see a Monique show? Now, Tiffany Haddish, I believe that's her name, she came out and said this. Would everybody boycott? Would a new upcoming star make you all boycott? If Wanda Sykes comes out, would it make you boycott? Like, what would it take for you to boycott a Netflix? Was it Issa Rae? Would she have to come out and say, hey, they only pay me X amount. Y'all need to boycott. Would you all get on the bandwagon then? Only Issa Rae. Oh my goodness, only Issa Rae. What's up, Gary? My other brother from OAF discussions. But so Cam, I see you say too many black actors and actresses getting opportunities on Netflix and in Netflix original to stop watching because of Monique's loss. That is true, and that's why I need more understanding of how things are going. Right? Is it universal or is it just Monique? If it's just Monique, if Netflix could handle it in a smart way, because how they handle, besides not talking about it, like if this becomes a bigger issue, or if more people start coming out saying like, hey, we're getting underpaid, this and that, we want more like towards equal pay, then I think that needs to be listened. Now, if Netflix goes and just says like, hey, bump all y'all, I'm gonna not cuss this time. If they say skip everybody, skip all the minorities, blah blah, you just take your pay or whatever, or else, then for me that could pose a problem, because now I need to see how Netflix is handling business and what's their real views on the people who help make their platform. Queens of Comedy 2, yeah, you got to tell me who's going to be in Queens of Comedy 2. I don't even know. Like, Monique's she's not my brand of comedian, but that doesn't mean she didn't earn her stripes in some ways, you know what I mean? So we got Issa Rae. So y'all only boycotting for Issa Rae. Now, let's take it a step further, because Cam brought out a great point. If the actors now jump into this, would it make you if actors started jumping in this, would this make you consider boycotting? Because me personally, I need to hear more, like not just her, but more people who are affected. Because I do think if you could get away with it and pay someone who's considered a legend, lowball them, then you can lowball anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because you could always pull the legend card, like, well, you're not a legend, and the legend took $50. You'll be alright. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I personally think that's how that would probably snowball. I think that's a good point, that she could stand her ground on this, trying to help others. Like, But then the other question is she that important? So Cam, you wouldn't pay no more than 50 a tick to go see her? I'm not even gonna lie. If I would go see her if she was free, I would definitely see her if she was $30. 50, I could do something better with my 50. I would have to see who she brings with her. If it was just her, nah, I'm not gonna go see it. Now, she has a nice lineup supporting cast. I'll go see them, and then I'll get Monique as well. But she, like, her comedy style just doesn't, like, it doesn't make anything memorable for me. I'd rather see Samara Moore. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather see a whole lot of other female comedians do their thing. All right, so who would come to her aid is the issue. Who would come to her aid? What do you mean, Gary? Like, what other actors or comedians? I think if she's trying to make a real change, she has to get it on two fronts. She has to get help on two fronts. One, other comedians, male and female, have to come out and have to talk about, hey, this practice needs to stop. A new alignment of how people get paid needs to be done. That would be my first take on that. Like, you would have to get male and female, because if you only get one side, the other side's going to bash. And then it becomes basically just a yelling match, and everything gets lost in translation. So if you get away from the yelling match and you get both sides, but you're going to need heavy hitters from both sides and some up and comers, right? That's the catch. I would say her original argument is females are getting paid way less than males. Then she threw in the black card, right? So the first issue, I mean, I guess you could fight them at the same time, but the first issue would definitely be, what's her name? Amy Shoemake? Or I don't know the lady's name. She made 13 mil. They offered her 10. She made 13 mil. I think Monique's as good as her. Why couldn't Monique get the 10 mil offer? Two people I really wouldn't go out of my way to see, but that's me. Hey, she got 13 mil. How trash is she? She got 13 mil. Is she worse than Monique? I mean, is Amy worse than Monique? I'm asking everybody in the chat. You throw that in there. Is Amy worse than Monique? They said it didn't do well. Okay. So if Amy is better than Monique, then you're saying she deserved the money. But if you okay, I'm with you on that. Like, if she wants to make a bigger change, but how she can't fight an industry by herself. Like, there's no way you can ask her to put on a cape and fight a whole industry by herself. She can take one component of a bigger industry and chip off that, maybe get a win there, and then other people can get wins other places. But there's no way right now, if she can't even get people to ride for her to boycott Netflix for at least a week or a month, she ain't making no changes in the movie industry. She ain't changing actors or nothing like that. So that's a hard argument to say, because yeah, she wants a check, but does she deserve a more equal treatment is the question. Because it's easy for me to be like, hey, I could use 500,000, but if you're worth more than that, why do you settle? What's the point? If you can go into your job right now and they were like, you know what, you were doing good last month, but instead of you making $20 an hour, we're gonna drop you down to $8. All right, Don't even worry. That's the offer. We're gonna drop you down to 8. Now, I think she burnt her bridges. Yeah, I think she needed a whole new PR crew. Now, I don't think she took the deal, Aaron. Cam, I think she made some mistakes on the PR side. I think it could have been handled better. And if she wanted people to rally for her, I feel like just a simple post, that wasn't going to do it. Like, she needed to make a grand announcement followed by certain points, back it up with data, people, some references, a few interviews, stuff like that. She could have dropped it on Oprah. You know what I'm saying? Or Ellen, something like that. Like, something that's going to get national play and make Netflix have to address it. But the other question is, if this came out on somebody who has more juice, because I would argue Monique doesn't have the juice no more, right? She's not really like Cedric, who's still making like power moves, as far as I can tell, who's still making power moves, who's like, got TV shows, doing radio, doing the pageant, stuff like that. Like, he's a legend. If he says something, people I think will actually stop and listen for a second. But does she have the juice like that? No. Is she a legend? Yeah. Is she worth $40 million? Not in my eyes. But I don't think she's asking for $40 million. I mean, anybody, if you could rob the bank and get $40 million, you're going to take it. But I don't even think she believes she's going to get $40 million or $20 million. Right? I don't think she's got that fan base. So that's just kind of interesting to me. Like, what would it take for you to boycott Netflix? Let's see. This is the same story, different outlet. Other actors have spoken out on it time and time before. All right, so she turns them down, then throws a hissy fit because she wants more. I don't think that was an actual hissy fit. I honestly think her ideal from it was a solid. Like, hey, men get paid more than women in comedy or on these specials. Netflix lowballed her, so that was kind of like taking the glove off and slapping her in the face. But who are we comparing her to? Like, I don't know the scale for comedians. Like, to me, you kind of like either the A-list comedian or you're kind of a nobody right now. And it's kind of interesting to see, like, what would it take? Because I know people say, hey, if it was more racially motivated, I would have went with this. Okay, she threw out a black card. So you say you don't respect the black card? Cool. I don't like discrimination or sexism, blah, blah, blah. So is that what she said? So you riding with that or not? So, okay. So that's my thought. Like, I don't think it was really a hissy fit. Could have been handled better? For sure. How should she have handled it better? I don't know. She got enough money to buy a consultant on that. Like, it's a PR team who could have got the message out and kept everybody on her side. Because as Aaron threw out there, he feels like she threw a hissy fit and he hasn't even paid attention to the story. So you have people like that. So y'all let me know, what would it take? Who would have to come up there for you to boycott something like Netflix? Like, what would have to happen? You know what I'm saying? Would they have to come, spit on your mom, come out with some racially charged advertisement that got Netflix stamp of approval on? Like, what would it take? Because I'm curious. Because I feel like people are saying, like, hey, I could boycott. No, I don't feel like people are saying they could boycott. I feel like people, no matter what is said, they would boycott Netflix. And that's cool. I'm not telling you to boycott anything. I'm not telling you not to boycott. You make your own decision. Like, that's all that matters. Make your own decision. But if we spin this to a bigger issue, is there any way to tackle wage discrepancies like this? between men and women. Is it possible? Okay, so Netflix would have to stop making documentaries like 13th and Khalif Browder for me to stop watching. Okay. So they would just have to stop giving you what you want. Okay. So really, for you, unless Netflix, only way to lose your business is they stop providing you what you go to Netflix to consume. So no matter how they treat actors, people who work with them, directors, this and that, none of that's going to affect your content. Because you're like, as long as I get my content, I don't care. Okay. I ain't got no problem with that. Same money out my pocket. Hey everybody. I see Aaron Francis. Oh, the host of Kids at the Cool Table is in the building. Netflix is pretty good at covering their asses. When it came out that Kevin Spacey had sexually molested a minor, they dumped him right quick. Okay, that's cool, but what's that got to do with people getting paid? That's a totally different subject. I mean, that, like, sexual molestation is a totally different subject than equal pay. But it was kind of interesting how quick they were like, hey, we got to cut ties. Boom. Out. Did they even finish the last season of that? Because he was still in shooting, correct? Kevin Spacey. And Cam, I'm with you. Yeah, we all underpaid. We all trying to figure out the system, bend it to our will, make things happen for ourselves. So I'm with you with that. Yeah, we all underpaid, but somebody's getting paid. And if they getting paid, you know you want to get paid like that too. So Aaron throws in, well, it's a social issue. These days, most companies are quick to not leave their asses hanging in the frying pan. I mean, that's people in general. Nobody wants to be on the other side of greatness. Like, nobody wants to have the world against them. That's also one of the benefits of our day and age is you can hold people more accountable in certain situations, or at least you can fan the flames and make people have to move or do something, or it'll just become a snowball and it'll become out of their control. And once it gets out of their control, then it's literally they're trying to do damage control. So I mean, it is a social issue, but I mean, if everybody just turns their back to it, then it ain't gonna, nothing ever changes. So yeah, I find it very interesting. Like, what would make you boycott something like Netflix? But yeah, if you get enough people, you get some more people come out, and I'm talking more comedians. If they get actors, actresses, but more actresses are comedians, and they tell like their story, like, hey, we're getting paid only half of what the other big names are making. Oh, okay. Hey, Devin. So we got a thought in the chat. It says Netflix is for-profit company. They pay people based on their popularity or performance. I feel Mo may not be big enough for them to pay her that much. And I mentioned that earlier. Aaron, I'll get to your comment in a second, because you're talking about something being frowned upon. So I mentioned that earlier. Is Mo, as you called her, is she a big enough name to move the scale. And if she's not a big enough name, who's a big enough name? If this was the music industry and Beyonce said, "Hey, X, Y, and Z," I think you're gonna. Well, Beyonce got a whole cult, so it might not be a fair comparison because there's a whole beehive, and you don't mess with the beehive. You just don't mess with the beehive. They'll look crazy. So, but I feel like who's that figure? Who's that figure? Because if it's not Monique, who is it? I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer this way. But yeah, they are for profit, and if they paid her off of what they think she's really worth bringing in content, that's a business move. If it's based off of, yeah, we could get away with this one, then I don't really like that. But I kind of don't like that in general if you're gonna undercut people. But I understand business is business. You trying to make more than you spend. Let's see, Aaron. So while women are paid less than men in generally in almost every single position, it is still frowned upon to pay women less. But yet it still happens as like so I don't have anything else to say to that. It's frowned upon. Like, up the checks. If you're really frowned upon, up the checks. You know what I'm saying? Like, paid in full. Everybody eats. I feel like the pyramid is always the same as far as pay. White male, black male, white female, black female. I was told this in high school. What's your thoughts in the chat? Y'all agree with that? No? Yes? Maybe? I don't have any like statistics on me. I can shoot it off the hip, but I was told that in high school as well. So I can agree to that. Like, I was told that in high school, that's kind of how the hierarchy worked. I would actually throw in some other groups of people in there, but that's a whole nother story. So if that's still happening, it's 2018. When do we finally pause the track and now switch the song? Or is everybody just like, cool, it's the way the world is? Because if that's the game, then how do you beat the system? That's my question on that. How do you beat the system? But, so yeah, I'll throw my thought in there. Like, if Monique can get some backing, get some more information, some more like real details from other people who are affected, so that way it's just not her. I could boycott Netflix, but it has to be more than just her. Like it can't be just a business move. It has to be like they're really going out the way to do this. Like, this is their unethical practice. This is their, practice that they do that, that's, yeah. So, what's up, Randy? Let's see. It might be the case, but when you know your worth and what the market rate is for the job is, you can demand more, or you can take your talent elsewhere. So, Tabitha, I ask you, where does she take her talent to? Because I said, she considered legend status, and you pay legend status a certain amount. She's not getting legend status pay. So where does she take her talents to? Black sales. Netflix shows that if a Monique special was worth it, she would have gotten paid. It's like Dave, Chris, nobody under 25 knows Monique. Bing. Let's see. You don't pay Bone Thugs and Harmony Migos money. Yeah, because they're not relevant. And I think that might be the bigger issue here. Um, you're gonna have Monique create her own platform. I personally don't think that's gonna work out too well. She can't get people to boycott Netflix. I'm not seeing her creating her own platform making a big difference. Unless she goes like, I don't know, she's got to reinvent herself, make a new buzz. Like, she has to become quote unquote relevant again. Like, she would have to become like in people's minds like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. Because Queens of Comedy, are you checking out Queens of Comedy 2, 3? Like, is that on your list? You waiting for that comeback? Aaron, you said HBO, Cinemax, and NBC. What are we talking about here? I missed something in the chat. Hey, Cam, great comments, Cam. Ashley, Aaron, Tabitha, yeah, great comments. Keep them coming. All right, so I'm gonna spend about 3 to 4 more minutes. All right, because I'm not gonna do very long on these podcasts. The next one we'll see how that goes. But this is the Liquid Drop today. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. For sure, I'm not cutting y'all off now, but we're gonna keep talking for a little bit longer because I'm enjoying the convo. So Aaron says she could take her, or Aaron threw out there that HBO, Cinemax, and NBC. She could take her talents there. My argument to that is, who cares that she goes to HBO, Cinemax, or NBC? I think she's going to run into the same situation. She can make videos and get herself out there. Now that goes into her marketing and her image and her crew. And you could argue they dropped the ball on this. Like, who's really pushing Monique? That she's that legend. That she's the GOAT. She's got all the credibilities. She got all the credentials. Who's pushing that? Nobody. Or nobody I've seen. From what I've seen on this, nobody. If she runs into the same situation, then Netflix didn't lowball her, really. She could probably get paid more with, I don't know, anybody going. She could get paid more on a different platform. But the catch is she running away with the money? Or is Netflix really low? Like, that's a weird thing, because how much buzz does she really have? How much do people really care? If our argument is just that she's not a big enough person, then who the hell's the next big? Like, who's the person that needs to speak up on this? That's all I'm curious about. Who would be that person? But I think her argument is sound. You know, wage discrepancy. She even threw out there that female white women get paid more than, in her case, a female black woman. And I guess for the for the disrespect of being lowball like that, she was like, boycott Netflix. Now, I am really curious. If she would have took the lowball, how would this have affected other people, the other comedians? Well, they had used this as, hey, such and such only took this amount. You ain't even got that type of credentials. What do y'all think? That would have happened? Is she really just being the Dark Knight and being the hero nobody wants her to be? You know, that people really need? I just made a Dark Knight reference. Wow. Hey, Kimberly. So everybody listening to the audio, we're doing a Facebook Live video. I'm gonna try to do these on more of the Cam. I like that. Like, respect to her. But, you said you feel she was more popular for motivating big women and self-confidence, not being funny. But she did that through her platform of comedy, for the most part. I don't know. Some people, I think, can make the argument she made big women cool, in a sense. Or lovable. So, I mean, there's still big women out there, so she can still sell tickets to big women, if nothing else, than chubby chasers. But shouts out to everybody in the chat. We are going to go ahead and chill out for the night. Like, this is my liquid drop for tonight. I'm gonna drop these once a week. I don't know what day I'm gonna do these on, because technically tonight's my free night and I ain't gotta do homework. But we'll talk more about homework later. That's a whole nother discussion. So, anybody want to say anything before we check out? Thoughts, concerns? Thanks for everybody tuning in. I really appreciate it. All right, so that's it for the show, and until the next drop, or until we meet again, peace.